Hello, I want to show you a little bit the progress from one version to another one while trying to make a small graphical user interface on MSXVR using a VR script and a DOS program here, and I found a cool editor to draw Nazi Schneiderman diagrams, so I want to use this to show you what I'm doing. The first thing I want to show is a simple screen switcher blinker. The software is preparing two screens with some elements on it and is combining these two, but could be also more, to a list. And then it runs for several times in a loop, and for every screen which are defined, this one is selected and then it's simply outputted and waited, and then the next screen is shown. And as we have only two screens, it's a kind of blinking thing. So with this I started, and let's see if I can find it blinking, and I will show you how the code works. So let's start first to see what's happening. So you see on here two screens which are alternating. These are boxes on here, and a little bit text. I call these elements on here widgets somehow, but these are a kind of steady widgets, and this works as the following. I'm instantiating of the class screen two instances, screen 1 and screen 2, and I'm putting a box in it. It's a method which draws a specific border color at a XY position and a width and a height, and a caption a box into it, we have seen, right? And also a label with green color at a position on this with this string. And the same I'm doing on here with the screen on there. On here I'm forming just a list and adding those up. And on here is the loop. There is a sleep thing. It clears the screen. It takes the buffer. I name this one here a screen buffer, which contains a screen. I'm taking out of the list one screen buffer, and then I'm calling a dump screen method. Let's see how this put box thing works. If we look on here in the implementation of the class screen, I have defined some character codes of the corners northwest, northeast, southeast, and southwest, and a horizontal line character and a vertical line character. And using these, I'm forming forms. Every item is positioned in a specific XY coordinate, and I'm transposing these XY coordinates to an absolute value. I showed in one movie how this could be calculated. I'm doing it on here, and this one here is actually my key in a dictionary, and the value is the character or the string which should be put out on this point. If you look on here in the put label thing, it's maybe easier. There's a color, an X and Y position, and the text. So I'm calculating on here the position, the key, and I'm adding into a dictionary above screen using this key a text. And if it would be only one character, there is no room for additional information like this. So I decided to make it as strings. On here the color is enabled, and on here the color is defaulting back to the default colors. The put box method works the same as. So there's also the color and XY position, the size and the caption. And I'm calculating on here also the key for the dictionary for one point, for the first point at X Y position, and I'm adding it on here actually. And then I'm moving for the size X in the X direction. I'm incrementing. And for every position XY, X plus 1, Y, X plus 2, Y position, I'm calculating on here again the key for the dictionary. And I'm storing into the dictionary as the key the specific character. And so I'm going to the right and then to the downwards and then leftwards and then again. So I'm forming these forms, ending up with a dictionary with keys which represent every position. And while outputting, I'm just asking this dictionary, give me all items you have on there, and print it out, whatever it's written into it. And this is doing dump screen on here. So I'm asking for an item key, and then I'm recalculating back from the item key to an XY position. I'm putting the cursor on it and I'm printing the item, and that's it. So based on this thing on here, I extended. I went to the next iteration of the program. I wanted to get rid of this wait a little bit and then the automatical selection of the next screen. I wanted to replace these two things by a keyboard press. We have seen this also in one movie, how to get the keyboard things running. Out of this, I came up to this position on there. And on here is the screen switcher with the keys F1 and F2. On here we can switch in between. And also the escape key is taken into consideration. So these keys on here, they are living. So the program is waiting for a key, and if it sees that a key is pressed, or actually it waits until 100 milliseconds, and within this time it needs to be pressed. If not, it's a faulting thing. So it's just redraw the current screen. So we have a steady screen. If a keyboard hit has been detected, then it's judging if it's F1 or F2 or the escape string. And if it's mono or F2, then it's just setting internally an index of the list which buffer should be used for outputting. But it's just changing the index. And then it went back in this loop. It waits. It's faulting because we are not so fast. So it's outputting the other screen which has been set on there. If the escape thing is set, then a variable is set which breaks this loop on here. So this thing is not happy anymore, so it stops working. And let's see on here. This is called this one here. So you see on there screen I formed a little bit another way, and you see on here also F1 screen is written in white and F2 in green. So if I would hit the F2 key, then it would change it to the other screen. And in addition to this, I'm outputting on here also the received key value X. We are falsing because we are not touching the keyboard. But as soon as we are touching it, you see, we are touching it. We are getting the returned value, which is then analyzed. And if you hit F1, then also a value would occur, and it's switching around on here. Okay. So now I wanted to input data. So I started something to name a kind of widget, and I have added input fields. Let's stop the program here so it's not irritating. I'm not speaking about this program here. Okay, let's go out on there. Okay, so I teach the class screen to take also input fields, and input fields are also positioned in a screen on an XY coordinate, but they have some attributes. They contain a value inside it, and that I could read out the set value of this. It needs to have a name, and maybe also a length of the field or whatever. We will see. I don't remember anymore. So I'm adding on this field, and to save this additional information, I created an additional structure, an additional class, which is instantiated for every widget and filled with the values. On here there is a test value set for the field txt name, and then again the screens are added to a list, and then the first one is selected, and then this thing works. In addition to the flipping thing, if F1 or F2, I said if the software is realizing that F1 is pressed, then a new value is set, Hans, into the field name, into this field txt name. Actually I should have written on here /txt name, because it's the identifier of this widget. Let's see how this behaves. Oops, sorry. Okay. Let's simply run the software first. So, on here you see two labels, and on here you see two boxes. There's a specific length. These are the input fields, and on here again you see this false thing. So if you press a letter, a character, it works on there. Right. Let's escape the program. On here a default value has been set inside of this. I'm not printing it yet, but in a structure behind of this field it's written test init or whatever. So if you're not changing it, if it's now at this point, simply press escape to quit the program. Then we see data values init test on there. We haven't changed it yet. If we run the software again, and if we are flipping to another screen and then back, let's flip on here, and now let's go back to here. Okay. And if we are now quitting the program with escape, we see that the value is Hans. So this was a test if still the data is visible from the scoping. I will show you the code. So on here everything is the same as we had seen before. Let's wait a second, I need to find it. Don't know. On here is the data value set to Hans. Genau. It's set in the screen class. No, it's not. It needs to be set on here somewhere. Where is it? I cannot find it. Put input field text and name. Where is this one here? Put input field screen, put label this screen, buffer mount, buffer screen, down screen, and remember keyboard in, press this one there. There, data value Hans. Oh, I think I'm messing up my video. Let's see where I have put it. Input field. There is a set data, and if you put an input field, put input field. On here I'm doing this defaulting value on there. So whenever I put an input field, I'm setting the data value to init test. Actually, this one should be a 0 or empty, right? This one here, whatever. Yeah. So and the structure which is needed to give additional information about this widget, this input field, is on this one here, screen data. We are creating just an instance of screen data, and it's just like a struct. I'm just setting this one here, value, the position, and a tab order. The tab order is a numbering system to get widgets in an order. If we press tab, that it jumps from one input field to an wanted second and a third one, and so on. This is this thing on there. But now, the thing is, this is the main program, and the main program is taking care about these keys on there, F1, F2 and escape. But if a screen is displayed, right, then we maybe want to insert the data, but it's better to put this behavior into the screen itself, because the main application just forms a kind of auto structure to handle input forms and whatever. So it would be actually cool to, for example, if we are hitting the tapped key to move to an input field, and if we would hit enter to enter the enter mode, the data entry mode, and then we should type, right? And with enter we should terminate our data entering thing. Click, boom. This would be on here. Oops, on here a little bit complicated. So I was thinking it's cool if the main program does not know to handle events, it should propagate the event to the current screen. A little bit in analogy of Windows. Yeah? If the Windows event handling system receives an event, it looks where the cursor is, finds out which window program is addressed, and it sends this event to this program, and this program needs to handle it. So, and we are doing this with our screen on there. This is the next one here. Let's also go straight forward in this other program. So this is tab handler. This is the latest but not finished. And on here, this one is let the screen handle. Okay. So let's run the program. On here you see when we press a key, then the keyboard scan routine returns data, and the main program actually prints the last received character code. Even if it's not handled, right? It just prints it. But if there is a character code which is not known, and this is and on here in the defaulting thing, these on here contain the not known character codes. Otherwise they would be handled on there, right? Yeah. So they are given to the screen buffer to handle the unknown codes. A kind of delegation from app class to C-screen class. And I put one, the tab key. So yeah, so you see on here this code 15, it's the unknown code for the app. And it's delegated to the screen class. So external received tab key 15. Yeah. So the screen class can handle it. Yeah. So we would be able now to tap to every input field or whatever. I'll show you the code how this is done. this is in the actually in the main loop, key press events handling starting main application loop. So on here are the keys which are supported, key F1, key F2, and in the lower end key escape. These are the 3 known keys. But if it's defaulting, so it does not know to handle the received key, it's outputting, and then it's on here. It's taking the current screen and asking the screen to handle the key press, and it's providing simply the received key code to this method of this screen class. And within the screen class, event handler signal sync of external source, the key code 15 is handled, the tab key, it just prints it out. Now on here, actually, this should be extended to other one. It's not finished. For example, the enter key, if I press enter, it's 28. Yeah, it's 28. Yeah. Tab is 15. Okay. Then the other letters are these values, right? But if the tab key is there, this is the plan for the next oops. Oh, yeah. For the next version of, if the tab key is put, then an internal account takes care which widget is active and nothing else. If an additional tab key comes, then it jumps to the next one, nothing else. But if our enter key is coming, then it should be toggling inside to an edit mode. And starting at this position, when again unknown keys are coming, then they should be added up to the value which is stored in here in the backside, in the backstage area, yeah? like this value hands, right? So if you press H, then it should be put H in, and then A, it should be adding to HA, and if you press N and N and S, it should be adding S to N, as long the enter key is again pressed, and then it should release the enter mode. Yeah, release enter mode, and then we can tap. And as we have stored the data on here, it is stored. Yeah, that's it. Now, and then, if you would then quit this window on here, yeah, we should then see then the received value of this field. Yeah. Yeah, this is maybe a little bit complicated and maybe also useless, but I wanted to gain somehow the possibility to make a kind of user interface. On here it's named personal, to receive personal data, or F2 could be maybe if some calculations needs to be performed at the start and end value, and step size is defined using a graphical user interface. And for this I'm doing these whole things on there. Yeah. Okay. I hope that the quality of this thing on here was good enough, and my explanations on there. And yeah, I will put the code I'm writing on here, or actually here, actually here the code. I will put in this on my GitHub account. It's the same name as my YouTube channel, James Lighted. I will put in the comments when I have finished the last one to enter the data. Then I will give also maybe a short brief. So, okay, I hope it was not too long, and I hope for a good soccer match this evening. Okay, so bye friends. where is it on here? Bye.